Hello, I'm the Godless engineer, and today I want to go through the Suzanne Atanus interview that I posted on my channel just a few days ago. She said some really asinine things, and I really think they need to be addressed with a lot of sarcasm and mockery. Because stuff like what she said deserves to be mocked and made fun of. And hopefully you'll learn a few things along the way. Because I don't think any of my videos are devoid of some kind of educational value. So let's start this.
Well, I am a conservative Republican. God first. All right.
And stop. Now, this is the very first point that you should realize this woman is deranged. I mean, if your first priority is to some magical sky wizard that makes you afraid of the burning fire under your feet, I really think that your decision making is best left to Sundays and Wednesday nights. Let's continue, shall we?
We've had an increase in diseases. We have floods. We have droughts. We have plagues. We never heard the term Arctic vortex. 16 years ago, we never would have heard autism. We never would have heard about dementia.
All right. Increases everywhere. Well, yeah, there's been an increase in shit happening. I mean, that's just how our environment and ecosystem works. We are having a real impact on our environment. And if you're just going to sit back and wait for your magical sky wizard to fix shit, you're going to be sorely disappointed. Because if that thing doesn't stop two planes from flying into two buildings and killing thousands of people, he sure as shit isn't going to give a fuck now. Really? We wouldn't have heard of autism and dementia by now? I mean, do you honestly think that just because we gave some shit names that means that that's when the first time that it reared its fugly little head? I mean, autism and dementia have been around for at least 100 years, and those are just the terms. That's not when they first appeared. Before that, we had no idea they existed, but that doesn't mean that they didn't exist. Recently, a single strain of a sexually transmitted cancer in dogs was found to be 11,000 years old. Now, I'm quite certain that we didn't start using the term cancer 11,000 years ago. So, I really don't understand why you mention autism and dementia. It's obviously not. It is not something that God did.
Macular degeneration. And God says, if you pray and you humble yourself, I will heal the land.
Okay, look, Pesci, you're starting to sound like the water boy, alright? But my God says, but my God says. Look, studies have been done, and they've shown that prayer has little to no effect on a person when you pray for them. The research was done in a health-related situation, and the actual results show that it actually could potentially have a negative effect post-op. So, any Christians out there who think that you're actually doing something by praying for somebody or letting somebody know that you're praying for them in that kind of situation, you actually are. You're actually hurting them a little bit. Now, I have my own personal experience with this whole call to prayer and how it helps people in health situations, because my dad, he had to go to the doctor and get his heart checked out. Now, through the magic of prayer, it went from a stent to a quadruple bypass, and then to a triple bypass. Thanks, God! You really answered their prayers. No, in that case, it would have been, oh, I didn't need a stent or a triple bypass or a quadruple bypass anyways. I just laid down, prayed, and I was magically healed. That shit doesn't happen in reality. The only actual healing that has been done on our environment, on our land, has been by individuals that have donated or offered their time and energy and resources into making that happen. They didn't just sit back and pray to some magical man in the sky and hope that the shit gets fixed. They actually got out there and did some shit. Let's just see what else she has to say, why don't we?
The weather is terrible. 24 tornadoes in one day. And so I am a God first, conservative Republican.
So you think some of those things are really ordained by God? I mean,
God controls the weather. All right?
God controls the weather. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's written in a book, right? Can't be wrong. I love how the guy steps in and he's actually trying to understand where the hell she's coming from, but she's just like, well, fuck science. I've barely read a book that I base my entire life on, and so I'm gonna tell you about facts. You know, facts like an invisible man in the sky that killed everybody on Earth, except for an incestuous grandfather and his family, with a bunch of water that he magically pulled out of his ass for some shit that he already knew was going to happen. That just sounds purely scientific right there. I think it's pretty obvious that you haven't even attempted to Google how the environment works. So I really don't think that you should be talking like this when the only knowledge you have was written by ignorant herdsmen 2,000 years ago.
He certainly has his hand on his people. Yes, I believe that
so why
the righteous will.
Why is God doing that?
God is angry. We are provoking him. We are provoking him with abortions. We are provoking him with same-sex marriage, gay rights, civil unions. But I don't want that to be the predominant theme in your newspaper article about me.
I think that she's mistaken his question for an actual question, because it's not. It's just trying to wrap his head around the shit that's coming out of your mouth. That's all that is. And you know what? I still don't have a clue as to what you're really on about. From this, the nearest I can tell is you hate abortions and homosexuals for no reason. How do you even know what God is mad about? I mean, do I need to cite 2 Timothy 2:12 again? I really think that you need to go back and reread this book that you based your entire life on and you are using to oppress other people with. Because given God's track record, I think he'd rather spring forth some weird man-shark creature to lurk outside your window for speaking on his behalf without a burning bush or schizophrenia or being a man. Let's all be honest here. God is the ultimate abortionist. I mean, given your worldview, the Christian worldview, he kills fetuses while they're still being developed in the womb. Now, of course, pesky science would explain it by the body knew that the fetus wasn't going to be viable, or there was something really wrong with it, and so it aborted it, or there's a plethora of other reasons that it could, that a woman's body could abort it. But that's not written in a book 2,000 years ago by a bunch of men. What are we trying to do here? Use logic and reason? God is also the ultimate late-term abortionist, too. Not only does this guy like to have children born in order to give them cancer and other horrible diseases and make them writhe in pain and agony just so that he can watch them die. But remember, he also flooded the world with magical water and for some shit that he knew that we were gonna do in the first place. If you ask me, it sounds like God just likes to watch things die. That's a psychopath. And finally, about the homosexuality issue, if your ass isn't out there with the stone in one hand and a Bible in another, ready to kill a motherfucker with the stone, then you really need to just shut the hell up. And you better not just be stoning homosexuals. You need to stone everybody that the Bible calls for. That includes people that divorce and remarry. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Give me your input on this. What do you think of this woman's ranting and raving? Feel free to express your opinion. Send me a message here, Facebook, anywhere, Twitter. So, see you next time.